And thank you, Golaknath, and the entire Singapore platform UG for inviting me in. It's been a pleasant surprise to give a session in early in the morning. So this is my first early morning sessions. Today I'm going to take you a quick introduction of Power Automate. And along with that, I'm going to share a use case where we want to send Excel data in an email, but I'll also do some little CSS or HTML so that the formatting of the table is also good. And we can play around some of the data operations and Excel connector a little. So this is my quick introduction. In my day job, I'm a Dynamics 365 and Power Platform consultant. I transform all the business needs into a technical language. So you can say I'm a technical product owner as well. I enjoy data migrations. I've been doing the data migrations using Scribe, SSIS, or Azure Data Factory. My reporting love is Power BI. I love playing with the data. So data analysis is my side gig, and I kill applications to check performance. So due to my day job, I know the stats to send across millions of data, what time is gonna take, what is the performance. So I have that kind of stats with me. I'm also honored to be the Business Applications MVP. You can tweet me at that techie girl. I'm also available with under the same name at LinkedIn. And on a personal life, I love traveling. I like to read novels, and I'm a nature lover, so I've got some plants too at my home. Moving on from today's session, the takeaway would be you would know the different types of connectors and templates that are available. And you would also know how to create different types of flow depending upon what is your use case scenario is. And then we'll send the email, we'll format the table using some CSS and HTMLs. So the email part and the table formatting is mostly on the hands-on side, so I'm not going to bore you with the slides. And before we proceed to her demo, I just want to quickly share the Power Platform space in Microsoft, the low-code, no-code platform. We have 4 space or dimensions in that: Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. Power BI is nothing but the reporting or analytics space. Power Apps is the application area where we develop all our apps, be it Canvas apps. Canvas app is on the phone app, and we also have some model-driven apps that you can view on your tablet or laptop. On the Power Automate, we have all the if you're on a Dynamics 365 space, you would know about workflows. So workflows have been modified into the Power Automate flows. Sorry. And Power Virtual Agents are bots. Those are the bots that you sometimes talk to when you visit a website for a quick chat. Before it transfers to a human agent, that's you are talking to a bot actually. So sometimes it's good to know that you are talking to a bot. And on the data connectors side, on the backend side, I mean, we have data connectors, AI Builder, and Dataverse for integrations purposes. There are some out-of-box connectors available. We have almost more than 265 connectors. Some of them I've shown here. I'm going to quickly also show the connector space in the demo section. Then we have templates for you to easy configure and plug and play and use it. So you don't have to always create your flow from the scratch. Sorry if I'm running so fast. I'll show this sites on the demo as well. So based on your user scenario, you can also decide what is your flow type. There are 5 types. You can start configuring your flow: the automated cloud flow, instant one, scheduled, desktop, and business process flow. Please note that if you are using a free account, that is a trial account, or you just have created signed in for the first time in your flow.microsoft.com and you don't have a license, you will not be allowed to create a desktop flow or a business process flow. You will only be allowed to create an automated flow, an instant flow that always needs a trigger for you to start the process, and a scheduled flow that runs on what time or date or month you have decided on. The desktop flow is more on the RPA side of it. You can download Power Automate Desktop for that. Today we are gonna mostly see the flow on the web version of it. Business process flow, Dynamics 365 has an out-of-box flow that uses stages and steps. This is very precise for those applications where you cannot move to second step or process B until process A is done. So business process flow will come in picture. Let me quickly show you the hands-on before wasting much time. Sorry. I'm on the Power Automate side now. I've opened it in incognito to avoid any credentials issue. You can log in to Power Automate using flow.microsoft.com and it will take you to the instance. I've currently in my default environment. I'm gonna show you today from a free user. This is my personal user from which I've created the environment. So I will show you some of the places where you would all actually need a license or a premium connection is required. The user will get the notice. So this is the dashboard where you always get login. If you scroll below a little, you will always see. Sorry, let me also zoom in a little. Yeah. So on the dashboard, on the designer page of the flow, what you can see is there's a template sections that you can always start your work from. There are some of the popular services or connectors that are always available. And then if you scroll a little below, there are some flows that you can work on and you can read about them. So if you do a learn more, you'll be redirected to the flow.microsoft page and the connectors page of it basically. On the left navigation pane, I want to tell you that we have some different items over here like AI Builder, Process Advisor Preview. We are not going to look in detail today. I'm quickly showing you the template section first, the screenshot of which was part. By default, all flows will be loaded on your screen. So if, for example, you have you want to check your weather, okay, so you have a MSN connector, so you can get your weather details every day. Even if it can be an email, it can be a push notification, or it can be just as a reminder on your screen. Okay. There are some reporting aspects template all as well out of the box, which is like trigger a flow with Power BI data driven alert. This is also you can configure on the Power BI itself, but from the flow you can have more advantages to it, and you can also integrate those data driven those data alert with Power Apps, as well as send it to your Outlook also. We have RSS feed also available, so if you are keen on getting updates, the RSS feed template or the connector would be suitable for you. Moving to the connectors. The popular connectors are always available on the top of the screen, and there are, as I mentioned, there are 265 connectors and more. If you also see that there is a word called premium written over here, that means you would need a license, and if by chance you try to connect, you will be getting an error. On the data space, on the left navigation pane, we have tables and connections, custom connectors. So you're also welcome to extend your own and build your own connector using Azure Cognitive Services, and it will require some coding aspect as well. The monitors is how the flow has run, or how your flow has been doing so far in the past or as well as in today. So the monitor will give you that aspect. There are 3 different sections where monitor has been divided: a cloud flow, desktop flow, and a desktop flow queues, which is currently in preview. Before using any preview version, please note that it is good for POC. Please do not use in your development environment, and please do not also share those with clients. They might lead into confusion that it was available in dev environment, but it was not available in your production environment. So please be careful with those. I'm quickly showing you the My Flows. So as you click on My Flows, you will land on all the flows which you have created in your environment. I have some of those. I've automated most of the things in my end so that I don't have to forget anything. I'm quickly moving to the create space. The drop any new news in Power Automate space, you will get to know on this side. So like this, the latest was the names were changed. The cloud flows and the desktop flows, the names were changed. Desktop flows were called UI flows. So all those notifications you get here. I'll click on the business process flow first, just to show you that I don't have a license and I'm using a free account. So you will always encounter the premium account required feature, notification. And you will, if you want to convert this, you would need to check with your global administrator for a license. What this also means, using a free account, is you cannot share your own flow with any of the team members. It's only for your personal use. If you want to have the sharing capability, please make sure it is you have a minimum basic license acquired. An automated flow is, let's say, every day, not even every day, on update of an event or a Power Apps trigger, you want to trigger a flow. Then in most of those cases, you use an automated cloud flow. An instant flow, if I click on it, even if I don't give name, let me skip it. You directly search it, and you have to trigger it manually. So if I say RSS, it is directly coming over here. But whereas, so this is normal flow, an automated cloud flow is created even though I clicked on the instant flow. I'll go back. So if I give it a name, and it gives me an option of manually triggering a flow, this becomes your instant flow now. And then if you go on create, you will always notice that, you know, a trigger has been added for you, and then whenever you add a new step, an action will be created, or you start from choosing conditions. Going back, a scheduled cloud flow. This is very specific to, you know, when you want to run it, if a weekday or a particular day. You can also choose it for, say, let's say every week I want to run it, just for 1 week, repeat every 1 week. And if you want to exclude some days, you can do this. And if you notice, the flow will run on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday every week. So that designation, that notification will come. You can also do a test schedule. This is by default 10 a.m. It's taking with today's date. So I'm gonna go ahead and create it. Whenever you create a reoccurrence, this will come. It shows you what have you decided. If I click on edit, let me go on more advanced options. Yes, please make sure that you always select a time zone. By default time zone will be UTC. So if you want to run it in your time zone, let's say at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you would have to specify your time zone. We have the hour section, which will tell you at what hour of the day you want to run. This is a 24-hour format, and 17 my place would be like 5 p.m. So I would have to select my own UTC on this case. So this will tell, the flow will tell me on the preview section that it will run at 5 p.m. evening on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday every week. Also make sure to always add comment. This is going to help you in your section, in your documentation, as well as for easy understanding. So I can always say run, runs at 5 p.m. which is my time. I say time zone just to make sure that I've included the timing, and then you can mention your days. So you can use any naming convention here, but I'll prefer giving it a name. Some people also like to change the reoccurrence, right? You can also rename this section. I can rename this to running time. You can do that by all means, but sometimes if someone, a fresher or a new team member has joined your team, So, and he's new to Power Automate, so it might be difficult for him to understand, you know, what is the icon. So I would suggest you to not to rename the trigger and the actions that you have added. It will also help your team members to understand what is the particular action all about. Moving on, I'm going back. I've created just one flow. If you notice, this is currently in a disabled mode. I've turned it off. Turn on and turn off plays a vital role. If I click on this as of now, if your flow is turned off, the status will always be off. It will also give you a notification that there is a potential problem. The potential problem is only that the flow is turned off. You can also see on the flow checker, it will give you a warning about your flow. Also notice a few things like I've not given any description of the flow. So even if my flow name is self-sufficient, you can always add a description. Adding a description you would have to click on the edit, and you can add this flow is specially created to get my Excel data in my email. Okay. You will also notice that since it's a free account, it is showing you a per user plan. If you would have a license, you would know which plan you are on. The billing usually runs on the number of times your flow has run. So the billing will occur on that. I can save this. Sorry. Please note that the description has been updated and the flow create modified time would come over here. It is a schedule type of flow, so I can see the type over here. On the connection side, this will list down all my connections that I've used in the flow. So let's say I've got like 5 different connectors, be it an Excel, Outlook, OneDrive, RSS, Power Apps. So all the 4 or 5 connections would list over here. The owners will not be visible over here. I'm using a free account, but owner section will be updated when you use. So let's say I shared my flow with Golaknath. So owner will be Roma, and you will see Golaknath as a user, and you can see which rights I've shared with. If I scroll below, I can see the 28-day run history. From here, you would know how your flow has performed. This was me doing some R&D yesterday. So if I click here, it shows me the last run modification. So there was multiple things that I did. So that was about it. I'll show each detailed steps as I go. Moving to the top ribbon, edit will take you to the designer page of the flow. Share will not be possible. When you want to make a copy of the existing flow with a different name, you can always use save as. The delete button is for deleting this flow. Sending a copy is going to take a snapshot and do a zip file and send it to the team member for you to use it. You can also submit as a template for the flow community. You can export it and it's going to be exported in the zip package. When export will come in picture when you want to deploy your flows from the one environment to another, be it a dev environment or a production environment. Analytics will come in play when you want to see how good or how best your flow has run in the past 30 days. This is the turn on feature. I'm going to turn it on right now so that we can do it. Repair tips of please do not touch this. This will always help you to check your flow. I'm going to edit my flow. Sorry. Please note, I've already done it as a scheduled one, so the reoccurrence is there. I've already added a comment. I click on edit and it will show me that it wants to run in my time zone, which is South Africa time zone, starting from 9th of March, and this was the time that it took. But even though the start time was 8 a.m. in the morning of 9th, I want to run it at 7 o'clock in the morning. So it will always going to overwrite if you give a hour of the day here. So this was 8, and if I don't give this number, if I clear this, it's going to run every day at 8 o'clock. So I've given it a specific number. Minutes is 00. If you want to have a specific time, like say 7:15 or 7:30, you can do that here. It has to be in a 2-digit format. You can also edit your comment. So if you do a mistake or you want to change the comments, or any modification was done on the number of days, you can always do that. Working days at 7 a.m. Whenever you save it, it will always mention you the notification in green that they want you to test it. We'll come to the testing part in a little bit time. The test button is always on the right side top navigation pane on the top. Clicking this reoccurrence again. So if you notice now, I've already created a action that says list rows present in a table. This is out of box available. If I click over here, you can see a file and a table name. And if you're wondering from where I get the file, there are two connectors under the same name called, two actions under the same name, list rows present in the table. But there are two connectors for it, Excel Online and Excel for Business. Excel Online Excel Online will take you to the OneDrive, and Excel for Business is all those files that are under SharePoint location. So I don't want to go SharePoint for the demo. So I have created a OneDrive. I'm switching my tab over here. This is my OneDrive live account. I have a book one .excel created and a plans one. My bad. Let me open book one, so we can see the content inside before moving ahead. I'm going back to the flow whenever the book gets loaded. So what you have to do is you click on the plus sign, add an action, and you say list. Let me do the easy way. So since I know I have to do an Excel, you can always select a Excel OneDrive. And you will notice, let me scroll a little, there are multiple actions that are available for you to play with Excel. You can delete a row, get worksheets, and the list rows is one which I'm using today for the demo. And you select this. Since I already had one action, so a copy was another action was added with the same name. That's the reason a number 2 is added at the last. The same format is here, file and table. If you go on file, since I had given the connection to the same location to my OneDrive, you will notice that I can see book one and plans here as well. That was in my OneDrive. So you then select the file. And here on the drop down, you will see there is only one table in that book one Excel that I've created, and you select it. That way you will make sure that you have pointed it to the correct table. Let me delete this one since I already have one. Going to my book one, the Excel that I'm using for today's demo, you will notice I just have two rows with the book series. I have got an ID, name, description, status, and a date field. There can be so there is no limitation to the number of columns, but it is always advised to make sure that it is under 30 for better purposes. And we will see how to make use of only the necessary columns that is required in the email sections. So you don't have to get the whole bunch of columns. Columns over here. Sorry, give me a second. This is my morning and I'm having some morning sickness. I'm expanding the advanced options in the Excel. you will notice I can have a filter query, order by, top count, skip count, select query in a date time format. Date time format by default would be ISO 8601. This is the date format that we all use in our day-to-day life. I've not used serial numbers, so I'm not going to play with those. If you don't mention any date time, by default it will be ISO 8601. There are also few limitations while filtering your data. At the moment, if I want to have a sorry, filter query run, it will only run on the name columns. I mean, non-date values, I should say. So all the string values, you can filter your query over here. I'm not going to make use of my filter query in the Excel connector. Let me go ahead. So now if you see what we have done so far is I have a recurrence for my flow decided over here. And then I have got my Excel that I want to use or play with. As a new step, now I want to have this Excel data in the HTML format. Okay. And I want to also send this. So instead of using, let me do outlook.com. If you see for Outlook, you will get outlook.com and Outlook 365. If you are on the Office 365 tenant, and so you would use the Office 365 connector. I have my live account being used for today's demo, so I'm using outlook.com. I'll use a send an email function. Let me click on the body. If you see here on the body and on the dynamic content side of it, I'm getting ID, name, description, status, and date. These are all the columns. But now if I add here, let's say I type ID, you will see as soon as I type one value, since there are multiple values, multiple records present in my Excel table, apply to each loop was added. That means for each record, I'm going to get one email, and I don't want it. That is not my use case. What I will do is I'll do a little trick. I'll go ahead again. So I've deleted my Outlook kind of action that I had added. I'll click on a new step. I'll search for a data operation. Under data operation, I've got create HTML table. So I'm quickly going to create my table from, you will select over here the value. I want the values that are present in that Excel table. So I'll go ahead and click those values. If you click on the advanced actions options, you will see the columns. So let me do this. Let me first take all the columns in my Excel, which are present in my Excel, and email it to myself. So quickly going to the Outlook, outlook.com. Send an email to myself. If you see over here, the output of the create HTML table action was there. So I can use it and I will get only one email. There is no apply to each that was applied in here. My bad. Let me write my email quickly. Subject, let's say test demo Excel. We can always change the subject also, but let's see the demo for now, how it comes, and then we take advanced steps in here. Let me test it manually. I want to run my flow. So at this moment, what it does, it goes and checks all your connections. If they're all good, it will go ahead and run the flow. As soon as I click on done, you see all the green text. So let me also quickly check what email we have received. So if you see, the email is already there, and you can see there are 2 extra columns that has been added. Okay, these are the GUIDs for those records that Excel saves internally in the backend, and then I've got my the columns of here. But if you see, there is 2 things that I don't want now. I don't want these 2 columns because those are internal and it's not of my use. So also avoid sending unnecessary data to any customer or client or even to yourself, just to save that space or headache. Anyway, and also I want to have that, the the borders of the Excel. So let us go back. I'll edit it. Okay, let me minimize this section. After the HTML, what I'm going to do is come add an action, do a data operation. I'm going to compose, and I have one of the script ready with me. So let me just copy paste it and we'll talk about it shortly. On the expressions, I will paste. So if you see, there's a replace that has come. And before I go into details what it is inside it, let me show you the difference that we're gonna get now. Please note, I have not changed any column, so we still gonna get those GUID columns. I've clicked on test, my run flow, I'm clicking on that and it's done. So this is successful. Let me minimize this. Oops. The second email that has just come. Oh, sorry. Please also note that once you have done a compose, you would also have to update. So it is showing me the output which was present in the HTML table and not the compose. So I'll close this now. And on the dynamic side now, I'm getting two outputs, one from compose and one from HTML. So now since I've done some replacements and modification, I want to use the output which is coming from compose. Let me just double check. Yes. So I've added it. Let me test it now again. I want to run it. So the email has just popped up. Let us see the difference now. So if you see, I've changed it, the boundary or the background of the only the headers to dark blue. The name is white over here. On the white, let me also do this. So if you see, there was a difference, a big difference that is clearly visible. So this is how you do a little formatting using going back to the flow, using a compose action. Sorry guys, give me a second. There's someone on my door. Oops. What? Sorry about that. Okay. We were on the email. So we clearly see the difference in, the email body that has come across. And if you're wondering if we can add a little text before or after the table, we can always do that, and we will see when the flow is finally created. Let us also now remove those extra columns that we don't want. And I will show you two ways of how to do it. Now let me go back and edit it again. So you will see that on the columns I've clicked on automatic. Okay, if I want to click on custom, it will give me an option of a header and a value. So I need a header which is ID, and on the value I can use a dynamic value of it. Let me click on name and add the dynamic value of the same. So now for name, I had here the name, so I'm using the same value. But for the email, I don't want just the name value. I want to rename it to book name. So notice the point is, even if I'm clicking a spacebar, it is not allowing me. So it might be difficult for every one of us to not give it the name as expected for reporting purposes. So if I go ahead and let me have a replace function, so I've done that. Let me show you how it's going to look. So you see, if you want to have a specific name without any space, it's gonna look like this. It's little squeezed at the moment and I still don't like it. So let's go back to the flow. Let's remove the extra columns that we have added over here, make this back to automatic. Okay, so the create HTML will only do for value. Let me now add an action before creating the HTML. So before I'm making my table, let me click on a data operation, and this time I'm going to select. This will allow me to select all the values from the Excel. So that goes in a select thing. It's going to make it in a form of array. So if it's a non-array objects, you might get an error on that. Now it's asking me to map for a key and a value. This key value pair or the collection is my columns that I want specific. I can say ID again and enter its own value. Enter a key, name of the book. Please note I have very easily entered the specific name I want with spacing. So it's name. I'm also giving it a status. So I just only want 3 columns for now. The change now that would be required is, since I've added a select operation in my HTML, I will not use the Excel values directly. I will use the output that came from the HTML, from the select operation. So I'll use the output and rest of the things will remain same. We'll quickly test it. Let it run. Done. Before we move to before I move to show you how the email has come, I want to quickly show you this thing. If I click on select, you will see the input had the OData E tag and the internal ID, the GUID. And now if I move a little below and on the outputs, if I click on raw output, you will see that I have only got those columns that I needed in my table. So this way you will filter down the number of columns for your email. Let's see quickly. So if you see, I'm now happy with my number of columns in my email. Let's go back. If I go back to the Excel, I have the ID, name, description, status, and date. So you will notice that I've skipped the description. I was okay with it. But I want to change the numbering. I want description to be at the very end. So you can easily also do that. Let me say date here. And description. Please note I've changed the ordering of the columns and it is allowing me. My bad. So now the ordering of the columns is also changed over here using a easy select statement. Let me test it again. So here I'm playing mostly with the data operations because I want my Excel, the data I'm getting in email to be in a very particular format. If you don't want to plug and play in that style, you are most welcome to avoid the select steps and directly go and email yourself all the data. So you can clearly see the ID, the name of the book, status, date and description. I've changed the status, date and description ordering in comparison to the original Excel. Before I move ahead, I want to show that if I minimize this, since the table is very slow, the effect gonna take some time. Now I'm closing this. If you notice, the scroll bar automatically appeared. I've also made my table responsive. So let's go and quickly see what I've done with the script. I'm making it a little large. The create HTML step that we have added, it gives us a body tag. So I've replaced the body tag. Okay. What I've done, the first replace, what it does, it looks for the body tag, create HTML. It looks for the existing table, and then I've changed the styling. So after the comma, the section that I'm highlighting is the first styling that I do. Uh, Overflow style is making it responsive. I wanted a border width of 1, so that's the border. You can also make the border 2 or 5 if you want a broader border of the table. The collapse, what the collapse is doing is it's usually when you do an Excel, it gives you double layering border. So it is making you a single border. And if you're not aware of the CSN and HTML, so don't worry. You can always visit w3schools.com for all the CSN and HTMLs, or otherwise you can also go to you can normal Google your stuff as well. I usually visit w3schools.com for this. This is the background color for the header I've done. So this was my first replace that I've done. On the second, I added this div tag that needs to be closed before the table. So I've done a second replace. This one, if you see that this is highlighted in red. So this is the second replace that I've used. And in the border color of just the header, I've added dark blue and with white light. So this was the third replace that I've used. So I have copy pasted the entire script and placed it back in my folder. If you notice, coming back to the Excel, since I've closed it, I'm getting my date in the correct format, but most of the cases I'm going back to my Excel. What happens is, on the date, let me select this. My Excel is hand at the moment. You usually get, if you do it, if you reformat the column, you get the number values. That's the reason there was a formatting required. Okay. So you would have to format the numbers. So in those cases, what we usually do is, let's go back. I'm running out of time. Sorry about that. So in here, let me give you an example quickly for formatting. In my subject, I want to pick up today's date. So you will use an expression. You can say format time UTC now, and then you select which way you want it. So I want year to be first, then capital M. We are using capital M for the month. If you use a small m, it will become milliseconds if I'm not wrong, and then date. So that way I've formatted it. But in case in some areas where you have to format or let's say you want to find or calculate two dates time difference, in that case you always use tick. So it will calculate the number of ticks, and then you can divide and plug and play. Last thing, I want to now also filter my whole Excel data. So I only want the status of to do. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter my array. So I'm adding an action, go under data operation, filter an array. In this case, you will now filter based on the output of the select, because you want to make sure you only want those 3 columns or 4 columns. So I've used the output. So you will choose, I want the status column. If you see there are multiple status, so an apply to each will be is applied automatically by the flow. I did not do it. In this case, let me delete this. I want to apply only once. I want one single array. I'm using the whole list. Then for, oh, sorry, it's the dynamic one. During the filter array, this is very case sensitive. So if you write, if there is an issue, you might not get the data. You can also use different logic operators that are available. I'm going to use contents. In my select, what I have to now update is I have to use whatever the data that was filtered, and I will use the output of it. So you can use item, and the apply to each is again applied. So you have to now move all these 3 steps inside the body, and you will get your desired result. So that way you can filter. Last option, if you click in advanced mode in the filter array, you can always make it make additional columns over here, but you will not be able to go back in basic mode. So you can make your complex query like that. I'm going to quickly delete this filter, running out of time. Delete this one as well, putting back my select. I want to use the values. I want the ID, then the name, sorry about that. The key would be name of the book. Then the status. Okay, I can save this. If there are, while saving, if there are any issues in your flow, you will always come on flow checker, and you can look for any error or warning for you to resolve it. The test which I've been using so far, I've using a manual option. For automatically option, it will always ask which recent trigger do you want to select. If you do this, it will give you all the 5 or 4 last runs. So you can reselect one of those, and it will trigger based on that. So I usually avoid this because we keep changing the flow in between. We use a manual option, then you test it, and the before running the flow, let me also show you 2 things. I've done a formatting and I want the table to be at the end. You can say, hi Roma, good morning. Since this is 7 a.m, please see below table for reference. Okay. Regards, Power Automate. One thing that I would like to highlight is you can always write a PS or a note in case this is an out of automatic email generated, just so that if this is not for personal use, make sure it's a note is written so that everybody knows that this is not you but a Power Automate or a template that was there, because the content of the table might change and the actual status would not be affected. So people can always ask you and come those questions. So you can always say this is automatically generated. Sorry about the typos. So I click on save. I test it. Everything smooth so far. I close this. If you notice, since I've added the date time format, I've got it in my desired format with today's date. So in case you want to have those dynamic values added in your email, you're more than welcome. There is nothing stopping you from that. And the email body is also updated with the body that I was given. You can also use indentation for that specific matter. So that was all. That was all I have to present for today. Any questions so far?
Hi Roma. Actually, there are two questions.
Sure.
So you can mute your. Actually, how can you invoke these from flows from a dynamic object? Example, invoke a flow open creation of a lead. Mr. Sumit asked this question actually.
So when you say dynamic, Sumit, do you want to maybe explain a little your scenario?
I don't think Mr. Sumit is here now. He left, I think. Yeah, he left. He's not there.
Roma,
Okay.
the I
Yeah.
based upon this is Venkat,
Hi.
based on question like example on creation of lead, how can this flow can be triggered? That's the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, let me just quickly show you something. The lead is very specific. I'm sure he was talking about the Dynamics 365 environment. So D365 connectors are available over here. Deprecated version, and this was the old custom, sorry, this is the custom insights connector, and the deprecated version is currently being used. So you are more than welcome to use this, and you can see there are multiple triggers that are welcome here to use. So you can use the updated or the created option. If you select, I cannot do this for now, it's a premium account and I'm using my free account, sorry. So use this triggers and then you can make your flow trigger and run for your desired output.
Okay. There is another question actually from Raz. I'm a non-tech guy. Just want to check why I will use Power Automate with respect to other leading RPAs in market. Whether is there any limitation on concurrency and performance impact?
I've not seen performance impact so far. That's a very good question. Why would you want to use it? So you would always want to not come in your Excel where in real life scenario you have like more than 1,000 records and do a manual extract of it. Power Automate, you see how simply I've created it from a free account just for myself. So if you are someone and you want to do it for yourself, you can always welcome to use the free channel. Based on the other competitors that are there in the market, they would not allow you to do a free lifelong, and they would just give you a 30-day trial as far as I remember. So this option would be viable, and since you are non-technical guy, there are easily templates available, triggers available, so you just have to log in and the template is ready for you to use. So there is very less coding unless you want a very fancy table like I've done in the demo. But yeah, you would in that case want to use Power Automate.
Okay. I think there is no more question. I can see only two questions so far.
Yeah, Golak, one more question. Yeah, hi Roma, I am Anik. So,
Hi.
Roma, like we can print all the Excel value into the email. So, is there any possibility to attach the file as well? Since there are used data in the Excel and there are more columns, thousand of records and hundred of columns, so we cannot print everything on the email. So, is there possibility to attach the same Excel file?
Yes, yes. Let me just quickly check. Yeah, I'm unmute. Yes, of course, there is an option. So I'm coming on the email notification trigger, which is send an email. If you click on advanced options, um, you can see I have the attachments, and you can always click on here, add your dynamic contents, or otherwise add a new item, and you will have all the attachments and its contents available to you over here. if you're very specific about the way we attach in a normal email body using the attach option, you would have to use some data operations and Excel for the very specific. But in this scenario, the attachments, you can name your attachment and the whole content. If you see in the dynamic side of it, if I scroll a little below, sorry, it was stuck. I'm getting the outputs and the ID columns that are present. So in that case, you would have to then do a little R&D on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Roma, actually there is one more question from Shiva Shankar. How we can connect from Power Apps with big data technology like Hadoop's?
Both of the connectors are available over here. Let me just quickly go back to the connector section. You're on the call. Let me just Google the Power Apps. Oops. So if you see the Power App connectors is here, and you can make a scheduled flow or maybe automated flow for that. And let me Google for Hadoop. It should be available. I've not searched for all the fancy connectors. I think I have some issue with mine. So if you see my screen, I've just Googled. There's some issue in my flow side. You can always connect in your app to Hadoop or Impala. In that scenarios, I've not done it myself. I'm not into that data space. So I've been using Power BI and Flow for now. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, actually sure. I think there is connectors are available as per I can see the screenshot. We can need to explore actually. If there is any connectors, we can use those connectors. There is no much.
Yeah, Roma. Hi, Roma. This is Bhaskar. Just want
Hi.
to know, see, any extra cost involved in the flow and the execution, because the customer is having license on the Dynamics 365, and if you implemented this Power Automate flows to customer, on each execution there is any extra cost to pay customer to MS, or how this will be?
So it depends on two scenarios, Bhaskar. What plan are you in? Because sometimes the number of flows, X amount of flows are always included. I have to double check the values. And yes, the cost always occur the number of times your flow run. So let's say at one time, at one day, it ran like 10 times. So 10 times the cost will be added to the flow bill.
Okay, why I asked
So
this question is
yeah.
implemented through plugins generate the email body based on the CRM data, and it triggering two mails to all the internal users. So if I replace that code to Power Automate, so we'll ask customer will ask, is there any cost extra cost need to pay? So that's for that reason I asked you, any extra cost need to pay, even though customer is having license.
Okay. This is a very tricky side of it as well. From Microsoft different regions, it varies. So it's always good, you get your local Microsoft people with you, and they can always suggest you the best plan, advise you on the best side of it based on your usage. Even though we know about all the licensing capabilities, it's always good to have that Microsoft consultant with you. We might sometimes think that the per app plan or the premium connector would be good, but Microsoft will give you the best way to look forward. So for those runs, they all sometimes I've seen some cases. I'm not assuring you, but I've seen some cases where Microsoft give you some of the trial environments for you to plug and play and see a default costing or an estimated costing that you can get for the flow. So I'm sorry, I cannot give you an exact answer for that.
Okay, no problem, no issues. Thanks, Rama. I will check with them. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, we are on the time, I believe. Yeah, exactly 2, maybe 1 minute ahead. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Roma. Actually, yeah, I understand it is early morning for you. It's 7 a.m. actually you joined. So thank you so much, and thanks for joining us in the Singapore Power Platform UZ Meetup. And I think we learned a lot of things in Power Automates and easy hands-on also. So yeah, thank you so much, and hope we will see you again in future events. And yeah, that's all from my end. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Roman.
Thank you for the
Yeah, bye.
invitation. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And guys, you can reach out to Roma also. I pinged in the chat. If you want, you can reach out to Roma as per the LinkedIn, Twitter, and everything I sent you already.
Can we get this video of this session?
Yes, actually, if you have registered in Meetup, then we'll share the recording link also. So you can get that. You can download from there.
Okay, can you please share the meetup link as well?
Yes, actually 1 minute. I can send right away. Here is the link for today's event. You can just click there. I think it will open up Singapore Power Platform user.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.